Hi everyone, I'm Bodine Victoria. Welcome to my kitchen and this is my pot. It is a rainy day here in Nassau, Bahamas, and I can tell you, rainy days call for soup. Soup is comfort food and Bahamian soups have everything in it. We're talking everything from dry conch to fresh conch to ham, pork, ribs, any derivative thereof. Some mutton if you're lucky, then you got your turkey if you like turkey, or if you only eat chicken and fish, you know, that kind of thing. My point is, it's called poultry, Bodine. My point is, soup is what makes everybody just happy. It's easily shareable, and sometimes soups can become expensive. Today we're going to be making a soup, but this soup is going to be under $20. All of the ingredients are going to be under $20, bar with the exception things like spices that you should have at home, and maybe like onions that you should have at home under normal circumstances. But either which way, we're making soup. So as I record this video, you're going to hear the lightning outside, you're gonna hear the thunder outside, so let's just cross our fingers and hope that the lights stay on so I can do this video. And while I go through what you're going to need for this recipe, I'm gonna actually start to heat up my pot. So here's what you're going to need. We're making a pumpkin soup, and like I said, it's under $20. If you wanna have some ideas on how to get more bang for your buck when it comes down to the food that you're preparing, I have another video that I'm gonna link here or here, wherever the little white card is at the top of the screen. Click that if you're interested. And now let's get started. You're gonna need a little bit of oil, and then you're going to need some pumpkin cubed, and you're gonna need it slivered. So this is so that it cooks a lot faster. You have 2 heaping handfuls of spinach. I like it because of the bright green color, and also because you have the iron content. Then you're going to need 1 sweet potato cubed into even cubes, some sweet pepper, some onions, salt, a little bit of sage, some cubed carrots. Again, we're trying to get this to cook pretty quickly. I have some fresh corn that I have cut off of the ear. Yes, I have some coconut milk. This is about 1.5 cups of coconut milk. We have 1.5 pounds each, maybe about 2 pounds each of ham, 2 pounds of turkey. And this soup today is going to feed between 4 to 6 people, a proper serving size, okay? Not a huge Bahamian total serving size, but a good serving size. Let's get started. What you want to do is you want to just add a little bit. When I say a little bit, I mean a little bit of oil. Let's say less than 2 tablespoons of oil to the pot. And we're going to turn this up just a bit. 2 tablespoons of oil in the bottom of our pot. We're going to break our pumpkin down first. Now, the reason why we're going to be using slivers as well as cubes is because we want the pumpkin to break down at different points. We want to give it texture, and we also want it to have that pumpkin flavor because the pumpkin is the star of today's soup. Now we're going to let these cook down with the cover on top so that they start to break apart. And because we already have the ham and the turkey cooked, really and truly, this pot of soup should not take you more than 45 minutes to an hour to prepare, okay? So it's not all night in the hot kitchen, you slaving away. That's not what we do in the day. And now that our pumpkin has started to break down, we can start with the fun stuff. If you have a masher, you want to kind of mash these up just a bit. If you want a thicker kind of consistency with your soup, if you want a more brothy soup, you can leave them just like this. But I'm going to mash them so that they break down a little bit faster, but also because I want a thicker consistency to my pumpkin soup. Yeah, pull my masher out. So I'm gonna mash it just a little bit. Now, because I'm on TV, I'm not holding on to the side of the pot because that's too much work, but please, y'all, hold on to the side of the pot so it does not jump up in your face. It's time for me to add our onions. I know it seems like a whole lot of onion, but really and truly, what is a Bahamian dish without a whole lot of onion? You need it. I'm also going to add our bell pepper or our sweet pepper to this. And we're going to let these sweat and simmer down. I'm also going to add our thyme and our bay leaf at this point in the process as well. Don't worry about it. Just because I don't have the broth settling up as yet does not mean that the flavor is not going to come through. It's just that these are dried, and so the longer that they're in the pot, the better it's going to be. I've added onion, sweet pepper, thyme, bay leaf, a little bit of garlic powder, and some water to the pot. Now it's simmering. The goal is we want to taste a little bit of the onion. We want to taste the sweet pepper. And again, they are not going to overpower the pot. Corn pieces, yes. Cubed carrots, yes. We're going to let that simmer. I could be honest, this needs some salt, but because I know how I seasoned this, I'm not going to add any right now. What we are going to do though is we're going to add our coconut milk. And we're going to add our sweet potatoes, and we're going to salt it just a little bit. And we're going to let it simmer just for about 5 more minutes. Sweet potato! I add some salt. Salt. I'm going to add a teaspoon of sage. This soup could be so thick and so pretty and so flavorful. Like, I can't wait for y'all to taste it. We've added the coconut milk. We've added a little bit of sage. We salted it. Sweet potatoes. We're going to let this simmer for about 5 minutes, and then we're going to be ready to talk about our meat. When preparing meat, sometimes we feel as though we need 5 pounds, 6 pounds, 10 pounds. Often 4 pounds can be a bit too much. I went to the grocery store, spoke with the butcher. I got 2 pounds of ham, 2 pounds of turkey wings, and they both cost me less than $7 for all of this meat. The truth of the matter is maybe about 1/3 of a pound of meat per person should be enough. When we're cooking soup though, we're trying to kind of, make sure everybody gets a piece. Also, you can prepare your meat in a pressure cooker or a slow cooker. If you're not going to be using that, like I said, cut it up smaller. It's going to work really well. What I like to do though is I like to season my meat ahead of time and cook them separately with their different seasonings inside the slow cooker. What I get is a flavor profile that is out of this world, and it complements whichever soup it is that I'm going to be cooking. But what I also get is this gelatin at the top here if you refrigerate it. So if we look inside this bowl here, you're going to see this gelatin, right? What I did is after I cooked it, I refrigerated the meat, and this gelatin has all of the flavor from the bones inside of it. And then I cut the meat into smaller pieces so that it shares better. This is the turkey. This is the gelatin. Essentially, it's the turkey broth. It has all of the flavor. And again, because I've seasoned my meat already, I know what I want it to taste like. I'm not going to be over seasoning my pumpkin until I've added the meat. All right. And all of the flavor is here. And now it's time for us to add our ham and our turkey to this pot. Ooh, wow. Now we're going to bring this pot to a boil. Our meat should be just about heated all the way through. And right now the pot is bubbling, bubbling, bubbling. I'm using spinach because I want the pop of color, but you of course can use cabbage. It is half the price of the spinach and it goes a whole long way. But I also wanted the color and the iron. So here we go. And just drop all of the leaves into the top of the bowl of the pot. Throw this in here. Spinach leaves are, in fact, going to wilt down. I'm gonna let this simmer. And when we come back, we are going to have plated for us a delicious, creamy, colorful bowl of pumpkin soup. It's about 5 minutes later and my soup is done. Preparing in advance helps to make this process so much faster. You can get a nutritious soup in under an hour if you make sure that you kind of have your meat together ahead of time and you cut things up nice and small so you don't waste your gas. This thing go with sense. Y'all can hear my belly growl in 2 seconds. Same time the thunder is growling, looking and waiting for the lightning, but we now have our pumpkin soup. And I can tell you, this banging. It took us less than an hour to make it in real time, not in Bodine. Had to edit for YouTube time. And that's because I took the time out to prepare my meat in my slow cooker. I'm gonna do a video on the appliances that you must have in your kitchen. Look out for that one a little bit later. But I wanna say, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. This tastes so good. And I'm mad I had to pull this out the pot ahead of time because you know, the longer you let it set, the sweeter the soup is get, right? Yeah, that rhymed. We have the pumpkin as the base, the sweet potato, the carrot, the sweetness, that's our starches. And then we also have our protein, which is our ham and our turkey, the broth that we didn't have to spend another dime on because we made it at home. The onions, the sweet peppers, I mean, it's just, this is soup. And if you wanted to get dead fancy, which you could have done is you could have added some dumpling. But I'm having mine with a side of rice because 1 pound of rice in the neighborhood store is about 89 cents to $1, and that could feed 8 people. I didn't talk. If you've enjoyed this recipe and you're enjoying the content here on my channel, which is cuisine, culture, fashion, and music, well, be sure to subscribe. I have new content coming up very, very soon and regularly at that. I also want you to hit the notification bell so that you know each and every time I upload, and look forward to more episodes of Bodine Pot. I want to say thank you guys so much for joining me, and hit me up across all my social media platforms. I am at Bodine Victoria across them all. So it raining. Santa P can knock to your door. Don't let Santa P in your door thinking he is Johnny. And also, don't let any and everybody dig up in your pot. Okay, go on. Should have put my panty in this.